Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Raza and I am subject specialist in English at Divisional Public School and College, Sahiwal. How are you all? I hope you all will fine.
Today we are going to discuss another topic about changing voice, that is past continuous tense, active voice to passive voice. So let's get into it. By attending the lesson, learners will be able to recall previous knowledge about change of voice, learn the method to change the voice of past continuous tense, change the voice of affirmative, negative, interrogative, and double interrogative. Students, we have learned different change of voices in our classroom as well as online lessons. So we have to recall in our mind that how we had changed the voices of different tenses. Now we are going to observe examples of changing voice in past continuous tense. The first sentence in front of you is written in active voice. That is, I was completing the task. So the passive voice of this sentence is, the task was being completed by me. Another active voice, the old lady was crossing the road. The passive voice of this sentence is, the road was being crossed by the old lady. Another active voice, they were flying kites, and the passive of this sentence is, kites were being flown by them. So let's begin with the active voice of the past continuous tense. First of all, we have to revise the word order of this tense. We have learned this tense in our previous class. For this word order, first of all, we use subject plus was-were, that is the past form of helping verb, plus present participle, that is actually the ing form of the verb, plus object. For example, Natasha was baking a delicious cake. In this sentence, we can see Natasha is a subject and was is helping verb, baking is present participle or ing form of the verb, and a delicious cake is an object. Now we have to learn the method or the word order of the passive voice of the past continuous tense. First of all, we use object plus helping verb of the past tense was or were plus present participle of be, that is being, plus past participle of the verb plus by and plus subject. Like, a delicious cake was being baked by me. In this sentence, a delicious cake is an object, was is helping verb, being is the present participle of be, baked is the past participle of the verb, by, and the subject Natasha. Now we have to learn how we have changed the voice of this sentence. We have an active voice, that is, Natasha was baking a delicious cake. First of all, we have to find out object of this sentence. For that purpose, we have to ask a question. That is, what was Natasha baking? So students, find out what was Natasha baking. Of course, a delicious cake, that is the object of the sentence. So we got the answer, that is object of the sentence. So first of all, we have to use object of the sentence for the passive voice. So we will convert this active voice into passive, like was for the past form of the helping verb, being the present participle of be, baked is the past participle of the verb, and by Natasha. So here a delicious cake is the object and Natasha is the subject. Other examples, like Azim was drawing a circle. This is the active voice of past continuous tense. So first of all, we have to find out an object. For this purpose, we have to ask a question. What was Azim drawing? What was Azim drawing? He was actually drawing a circle. So that is the object of the sentence. So for making passive voice, we have to use object. First, a circle was being drawn by Azim. So here, object comes in the start of the sentence, and then we will use was, being, drawn is the past participle of draw, and here subject comes at the end. Now we have to learn change of voice of past continuous tense negative sentences. The active voice, they were not speaking the truth. So here you can see the position of not. It is coming after were, that is the past form of the helping verb, and not is also coming before the present participle of the verb. So what were they not speaking? We have to find out the object of this sentence. That is the truth, and it comes first in passive voice. The truth was not. Not is showing negative sentence, and it is coming after helping verb, that is was. Being, it's a present participle form of be. Spoken is the past participle of the verb speak by them. So here them is the objective case of they. Now we have to observe some examples of negative sentences. First, active voice. In negative sentence, she was not plucking the beautiful flowers. So students, we have to find out the object. First of all, the question arises, what was she not plucking? Yes, the beautiful flowers. The object or the answer of this question is the beautiful flowers. So it will come first in the passive sentence. The beautiful flowers. So flowers is a plural word. That's why we will use were. And for showing negative sentence, we have to use not. Being, after not, being is the present participle form of be. Plucked is the past participle form of pluck. By, and her is the objective case of she. Another example, those boys were not killing a venomous snake. What were those boys not killing? The boys were not killing a venomous snake. So a venomous snake is an object. It will come in the first place in passive voice. So this active voice will be changed in passive voice as a venomous snake was. So snake is a singular subject. We will use was, not for showing negation, being killed by those boys. Now we have to learn change of voice of past continuous tense interrogative sentences. The active voice of interrogative sentence, were you watching a movie? Here you can recall in your mind that we use helping verb before subject. So here you can see helping verb of past tense, that is were. You is the subject. Watching is the present participle of watch. A movie. What were you watching? A movie. A movie is an object. What were you watching? Yes, a movie. Movie is an object of this sentence. So, because we have to change this into interrogative sentence, so we will use was, the helping verb, because movie is single subject here and it was will use to show singularity. Was a movie being watched by you? Being is the present participle form of be. Watched is the past participle form of the verb watch. By you. You is the objective case of you. Looking forward, some examples in interrogative sentences. Was he not feeding the dogs? Was he not feeding the dogs? It's an active voice, so we have to change it into passive voice. So first of all we have to find out the object. The dogs is an object. So changing into passive voice, we will use helping verb in the start because it's an interrogative sentence. So it will be, were the dogs being fed? Fed is the past participle form of feed by him. Him is the objective case of he. Another example of active voice, were we not painting the gate? Were we not painting the gate? The passive voice of this sentence is, after finding the object, was the gate being painted by us? Now let's have a look on the change of voice of past continuous tense, double interrogative or interrogative with WH words. Examples: active voice, why were you cheating me? After this word why, we are using helping verb of the past tense, that is were. You is the subject of this sentence. Cheating is the present participle form of the verb, and me is the objective form of I. The passive voice of the sentence will be, after finding the object, that is me, and why was I? So I will be here the subjective case of me being cheated. Cheated is the past participle form of cheat by you. Another active voice, why were the laborers digging a canal? So it's another example of double interrogative or WH questions, the passive voice of the sentence. So you have observed the double interrogative or WH word questions. Now we have to recapitulate our lesson that we have learned about change of voice in past continuous tense. Students, you can observe the active and passive voice of different types of sentences that we have learned today. In first, we have affirmative sentences. The affirmative sentence of active voice is, she was writing a letter. And the passive voice of this sentence is, a letter was being written by her. You can see the change of the object and subject and the change in the helping verb as well as in the main verb. The negative sentence of active voice, she was not writing a letter, and you can see the change in the passive voice of negative sentence, a letter was not being written by her. Her is the objective case of she. Interrogative sentence, was she writing a letter? And the passive voice of interrogative, was a letter being written by her. Next is WH words interrogation. The active voice. Why was she writing a letter? And the passive of this sentence is, why was a letter being written by her? Written is the past participle form of write. Her is the objective case of she. Another example of WH words interrogation or the double interrogative sentences. Who was writing a letter? Here we have to convert it into passive voice. That is, by whom was a letter being written? So here is a little bit change in the WH question, because who here becomes whom. Now you have a homework that can be really helpful for you to learn the change of voice in the past continuous tense. Students, you have to change the voice of following sentences and you have to write on your notebooks also. So here is the list of sentences. You have to change the voice of these sentences and you have to write on your notebooks. Thank you very much. I hope you have learned today's lesson.